What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. We have some breaking news regarding Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani. I know, I never thought we'd be talking about him either, but he has returned. He has returned with vengeance, and Adam Crafton has released a very insightful article about the whole bidding process. He's brought a diss track, Eminem style, like, yo, Sir Jim, your mum's a bum. Saying that Sir Jim's mum's probably not alive. Apologies, Sir Jim. But he's wrote a diss track, Eminem style. He's been going in at Sir Jim, Ineos, Dave Brailsford, saying, yo, fucking da-da-da-da-da. All this kind of stuff. No, he hasn't, but it's kicking off, and he's responded to the whole kind of situation around the bidding war, and it's interesting. There's a couple of interesting comments coming out from this. So big up Adam Crafton, because it is a really good article. So this is the main headline, which you can probably see on the screen already if you're on YouTube. Apparently, legal representatives of Sheikh Jassim has sent legal letters to Manchester United's lawyers to complain about a pattern of demonstrably false and defamatory statements made by Sir Jim Ratcliffe about their attempt to buy a club. Now, I want to say that again because I was hiccuping and burping and shit midway through it. And also, I watched some of my coffee. Well, I was hanging out, I had a bit of milk tash. So, let me read that out again because I'll do it properly. Apparently, legal representatives of Sheikh Jassim have sent legal letters to Manchester United lawyers to complain about a pattern of demonstrably false and defamatory statements made by Sir Jim Ratcliffe about the attempt to buy the club. Now, this comes following numerous interviews where Sir Jim has kind of put in some throwaway comments about Sheikh Jassim not really being real, and a few other little bits, like dropping kind of little gems in there. And like I said, the article is really, really good, so I would advise and employ people to go and give it a read. But that is what I want to talk about today. Of course, it's match day as well, so I'm going to dive into the latest news all around match day, Mason Mount, Varane, etc. I'm going to dive into all that, so make sure you get in the comment section, make sure you subscribe to Real Reds Talk, and yeah, let's get into it. So, let's kick things off. We all remember the bidding war, right? We've spoken about it so much, we were sick of speaking about it. It has been brought up slightly, a little bit more. But we all remember the process, don't we? Starting in November 2022 when that rat bag announced that they would explore strategic alternatives for the club's ownership. We had Ratcliffe, who declared his interest early on, and then previously been linked with his boyhood club. There was always kind of... I remember when it first initially got announced, it was way before the bidding war even happened. And a lot of people were pushing for Sir Jim Ratcliffe. A lot of people were happy about this. They was like, yeah, sounds exciting. At the time, obviously, there was no other preferred bidder. Then a statement was put out on behalf of Sheikh Jassim declaring a £4.5 million bid from Qatar. No one had a clue about him at the time, not one person. Many people confusing him with his father. I think his father's called Hamad bin Jaber Al Thani, I think it is, who previously served as the Qatari Prime Minister. It was said that Sheikh Jassim, however, is on the board of directors of the Qatar Investment Bank, and with his profile online saying that he graduated from the Royal Military Academy in the United Kingdom. So surely someone's seen him. Surely someone has seen him and knows of him. Outside of that, there's little information about him, something that many have picked up on, saying he's kind of fucking AI generated and he's not real, it's a fake email and all this kind of stuff. Because obviously, when they went to Old Trafford to view it, have a look at Carrington and do all the kind of briefings and stuff, Sheikh Jassim wasn't present. It was like a group of lawyers or whatever it was who kind of turned up, and they didn't really show any kind of emotional side. They were just there to get business done, and then they pissed off, whereas Ratcliffe was a little bit more careful and considerate. And Ratcliffe actually goes to say in an article, still nobody's ever seen him, actually. The Glazers never met him. He never... I'm not sure he exists, which is quite a strong statement, and quite, again, I don't know if it's put out there as like a dig or whatever, but it's a legit thing. Like, a lot of people have said that they haven't seen him. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen a couple of journalists say, yeah, he is real, I can confirm, I've done this, done that, but these first and foremost, what you can see on the screen there, on YouTube, that's one of 3 pictures of him, I think, maybe 5 at a push. So he is very mystical. He's very, and even certain people now are kind of questioning the bid on United as well, saying how legit was it, what were his true intentions, and all this kind of stuff. So let's dive into that Adam Crafton article because there's a couple of interesting quotes coming out from there, and then I'll dive into the comment section very, very shortly. So, from the Qatari side, they're saying Joel and Avram Glazer did meet Jassim in New York on July the 26th, 2023, and apparently United have chosen not to comment. Now, I'd love more clarity on this meeting in New York. Who else was present? Surely the Glazers know, like, we need more context on this. If there was a meeting that went down, there would have been people there that can confirm this. But I don't know why. I don't know if the Glazers are putting this out there as, like, a spin to say, oh, Sir Jim was always the better option. Actually, we didn't do all of this. It was all Qatari side. And then there's a little bit of pushback from Qatar, maybe putting out a bit of PR out there. Like, it's a back and forth. And it could get ugly in terms of legal cases and all that kind of shit. So, apparently there was a meeting in New York. No idea what happened there. So, I don't know which side to believe, to be honest with you. Because the Glazers, as we all know, are dubious ratbags. We know this. We know they can be, you know, conniving and sneeveling, and they're more than capable of doing shit like this. And also as well, the whole bidding situation. I mean, they put a bit about this as well, saying we had the news that United put out saying the Qataris never produced customary financing commitment letter, but his lawyers claim proof of funds via Qatari National Bank, £5 billion, plus clearing the debt of £731 million. They later go on to say there was mixed signals and indecision, which is no surprise with the Glazers, is it? That's what I'm saying. Like, the Glazers, people might call them fantastic businessmen because they did the deal of the century, getting United on borrowed money and then, you know, doing this deal with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and still being in power and making more money off it in the long run, in essence. But the whole process for a year was so dragged out. Every single United fan was fucking sick of talking about it. And it was like, please, 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 can we just get this done? Whichever way it is, finish it. People had lost the plot at that point. So the fact that they're saying, you know, there's mixed signals and indecision, there was. That is something I can fully get behind and say, yep, can see that from afar. All the reports you were reading on the bidding situation, it was awkward. It was longed out. Even Sir Jim Ratcliffe said we had to wait a while. It was difficult negotiating, all that kind of stuff. So that's not even questionable, really. It was the whole situation which was foggy around the preferred bidder situation and exclusivity. If you all cast your minds back to May or June, I think it was, and Reuters, who's a very credible financial outlet, had put out, I don't know if it was a tweet or they did like a video or whatever it was, saying that, you know, Qatar had exclusive status or something along the lines of that. So I was like, right, so everyone's losing their mind about Qatar and saying, yep, it's done. You know, Rio's coming out doing videos about Qatar saying, yeah, it's done. Like, it seems like something's being pushed from somewhere and people couldn't quite grasp what was going on with it. So it was foggy. Again, that's another situation. And I feel like this is something that's going to be a cloud over Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid for a while, especially with this pushback now from Qatar. There was a letter from Jassim's lawyer demands corrective SEC filing, which, again, that was another thing that came out. That was proof, basically, that they didn't provide the funds that was needed. An immediate seizing of knowingly misleading and false statements by Ratcliffe and Manchester United. They say they reserve all rights for legal remedies. Again, Man United decline to comment. Now, what are the consequences going to be, or what might arise if these kind of demands are not met? Is it going to get messy? And they're going to go down a whole court storm of years or whatever? Is it really fucking worth it? Maybe for Qatar, because they're looking at it. What is going on with that image there? Let me sort this. It's bugging me that. I've been looking at it in the corner. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, let me just sort that out. Oh, that's better. Oh, it's bugging me. It's really, really bugging me. I bet it's bugging other people as well. Let me get the YouTube comments up. It was a joke. He used an internet meme. Never thought I'd have to make a graphic with his face again. I know. He's back. He is back. It's like the De Jong thing, innit? But yeah, there's going to be consequences down the line legally, I imagine. If Qatar, what they are saying is true, then it's not great, is it, to be fair? Also, does the refusal of both United and Ratcliffe, the fact that they are refusing to kind of comment, what's the transparency and the credibility of the situation? How might this ongoing controversy affect United's operations and reputation in the long term? Da-da-da. More importantly to the point, what do you think about the situation? Do you think Qatar are talking shit? Do you think Ratcliffe and co are right? Do you think there's a bit of Can anything going on with the Glazers? Of course there is. That's not even a question. Don't even answer that. What are your thoughts on the situation? And the bidding war. Now we've had time, a little bit of time to reflect on it, haven't we? Because we had a year solid of just nonsense reports and back and forth and people saying this. You know, the Qatari accounts on Twitter were just going absolutely mad. Even people on this platform, TikTok, were going absolutely mad. People losing their shit either side, and no one really. And again, the text there as well. What is going on? Right. This is really pissing me off. Sorry about that, people, if you could see that in there. That was really annoying me. Can we have a capybara at the end? I'll try my best, but I'm not on Discord, so I can't put it up in that sense. I've lost my train of thought now. What was going on? Norris saying Ratcliffe is a puppet for the Glazers. To be fair to Ratcliffe, he had to pivot in a business sense because outright money that was being spent, Qatar were winning. And again, that leads to the... It looked like Qatar was going to win the bid. Ratcliffe, he pivots 3 or 4 times. It was different. I remember David, what's his name, from Bloomberg? David Helen, I want to say, something like that. It's something along the lines of that. And he went on a show, I think it was Flex, went on with Flex on the United View, and he was talking about how Ratcliffe's bid was dead in the water because of other stakeholders at the club. He had to kind of pivot around that again, and then he had to make it right so that the Glazers were happy and he was making more money long term, so they'd all get £1 billion each. Now, in that sense, people may say, yeah, he is a puppet for the Glazers because he did what they wanted him to do. But if that's your only foot in the door and you believe that you can do better for the club, I don't blame him in that sense. I do believe his intentions are true and real. I like what he's done so far. I like what's being discussed with the structure. I mean, there's a couple of things that I don't like. I don't like the links with Graham Potter and Southgate and these kind of things. But again, they're not solid links. These are just things that have been reported. There's plenty of things that have been reported around Manchester United, which there always is. So the things that I'm seeing, though, with the structure, bringing in Omar Barada was a massive coup. I don't care what anybody says. That was a great first step from Ineos. Jean-Claude Blanc's floating around, a very experienced man. So Dave Brailsford, I like him. I like his philosophies. I like what he's done in other sports. How much of an impact he can have on football is yet to be seen. So I don't know the situation with that. But he's got probably the biggest job in football to do. And I like what they're doing. They've started off well. But again, actions speak louder than words. They're doing all this talk. Let's see what actually happens in the summer. This is arguably going to be the biggest summer for Manchester United because I'm going to talk about the match day today against Chelsea and how important the game is. But we are currently 6th in the league, I think. Spurs and Villa dropped points again. Villa got battered by City. Spurs dropped points as well. It'd be nice to capitalise on that and get the points back that we lost against Brentford. We should have beat Brentford anyway, and we should have beat Fulham, and we would have been in contention with the Champions League. But that's now going to make it difficult and hinder the summer because financially we're not going to be at the situation where we want to be. And then is Ten Hag going to keep his job if we don't get Champions League? If we lose the FA Cup and we finish outside the top 5, should Ten Hag even keep his job? Does the injuries that have happened warrant him keeping his job? I don't know. I can't fully say that I would keep Erik ten Hag. I can't because there's an argument to make. People are upset about the tactics as well. So I don't know. Never thought. Sorry, I read that out. Shrindy says, you know what? Now I do not care who owns United. Just get rid of medical staff, unwanted players, and give more time to Erik ten Hag. Get potential future star footballers. Shrindy, coming in with a fantastic comment. I love that. We all give Shrindy a clap, please. Love it. Don't care who owns United. Just get rid of medical staff, unwanted players, and give more time to Erik ten Hag. If you didn't see the video I did on the medical staff yesterday, a whole deep dive. I had the full list of every player that's been injured at United this season and how long they was out for. So make sure you go check that out. And I did a deep dive on who runs operations and stuff. So yeah, that was an interesting show. This obviously be completely different with the owner situation. But look, kind of reflecting on it now, I don't know. I was for Qatar simply because of the fact that it was 100% and the Glazers would be fully gone. So I think that was the main thing that people were pushing behind. It weren't the fact it was Qatar. I mean, I might be wrong. It weren't the fact it was Qatar. You saw a lot of money, 100% sale. You show that to any United fan, I would say 75% of the fan base, especially online, were saying, get Sheikh Jassim in. He's going to be the best for this club. He's going to clear all the debt. He's going to do this, that. But it doesn't always work out like that. Look at PSG. Now, the Qatari side have pumped in a lot of money. They're under a different umbrella, supposedly. But they've pumped in a lot more money into PSG. And they still haven't won a Champions League. I mean, they had Messi, Neymar and Mbappe up top. And they still couldn't win a Champions League. They've not been able to do what City have been able to do. So, in that respect, is it always the best thing? Just money, throwing things. Like, it needs an operation behind it as well, a structured operation to go well. Money isn't always the answer. It obviously helps, especially when you're trying to clear the debt and build a stadium and stuff like this. But I don't know. I have to be honest and speak from the gut. I feel like Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the right person. From everything I've heard, everything I've seen, the infrastructure that's being put in place, what's going to happen with the stadium, it's ticked off a lot of boxes. And I remember doing a show with one of the lads on the channel, Shreyas, and we was discussing, like, if we have a 10-step plan of what we want United to do, what would it be? And we went through and we was like, this, stadium, infrastructure, women's team, transfers, players going out, everything around it, the whole area around it as well, like Warside and Salford Quays and stuff. And he's come in and he's gone, tick, 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 tick. So how can, as a United fan, how can I be unhappy with that? The side where he's give the Glazers a lifeline almost, that was something I was pissed off about. But I've come to kind of understand, the more I've deeped it and thought about it, that he kind of had to do that to get his foot in the door. So he had to pivot in a business sense. Lindelof the GOAT, do you think the guy who joined us from Arsenal's medical staff is an Arsenal fan who just fucks about and does it? I came up with a conspiracy yesterday. I didn't come up with it. It's a true story. Wink, wink. That this Gary O'Descroll, this new Arsenal medical doctor, whatever he is, just has come in that fucking room with a lump hammer and just started smashing everyone's knees and groins and just completely fucked them up and said, if you say anything, I'm going to do this to you. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Medical staff at United are just abysmal. We need 20 to 23-year-olds who want to prove at the world stage. These are players who Eric Ten Hag loves to have. Well, he said this in a press conference yesterday. I am going to dive into that. But let me just wrap up on this Sheikh Jassim situation, and we can talk about the match day today because United played Chelsea. I'll talk about the Ten Hag embargo section as well, and I'll talk about Mason Mount and a few other bits. So make sure you do stay around for that and smash the like on the video. Yeah, I'll wrap up on the Sheikh Jassim thing. It is what it... Look, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how far this is going to go down the legal road, but there is pushback from Qatar. Who's right? Who knows? Let's just see how this kind of thing plays out. I'm happy with Sir Jim at the moment. I'm excited for the summer. I want to see how he gets on. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? Let's talk about the match day. We play Chelsea tonight, and we've had an update on the centre-back situation. Raphael Varane and Johnny Evans have both passed fit to play in the squad tonight. That coffee's cold. Oh, that's fucking... Oh, that's horrible. Varane and Johnny Evans have been passed fit, so they're available. I don't know what's going on with Maguire. Obviously, Leachart come back, gets injured again. Fucking Lindelof comes back, injured. So we are quite literally a revolving door when it comes to centre-backs. I'm pretty sure we've played around, 15 to 20 different centre-back partnerships? Loads. Absolutely loads. So you can show the rotation. There's no structure in the team whatsoever, and that kind of plays into the embargo section that we was discussing. Ten Hag got asked about, the injury, are the performances acceptable, the injuries, and he basically sat back and said, listen, when we've had to rotate as much as we have, and we can't have important players like Leacher, like Luke Shaw, like he kept referencing, players, especially in build-up, and balance in terms of left-footers and stuff. It completely changes the way you want to play. He said about Stones and Walker missing for City, and they didn't perform at the same level that they did against Manchester United, against Arsenal, because they had 2 important players missing. We've had 4, 5, 6 important players missing, probably for the majority. Mount's been missing for the majority of the season. He was supposed to be a pivotal signing, right? Lisandro Martinez has been injured all season, pretty much. Same thing with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw hasn't played a lot of games. Casemiro missed a significant part, and I know people want to talk about Casemiro like he's fallen off. He has fallen off 100%, but he's still the only natural 6, really. I know Kobe can play there, but he's still only the natural six there in there, basically. And then Rasmus Højlund, likewise, when he's been missing, we've had to play Marcus Rashford up top. And Marcus Rashford can't play as a 9. So throughout the whole team, the structure's completely changed, chopping and changing everywhere. We're having to play fucking just people, Wan-Bissaka, for example, at left back. Like, so I have sympathy for him in that sense. And he's also urged, Erik ten Hag has also urged Sir Jim Ratcliffe to have patience with the job he's doing at United and resist any temptation to interrupt the process. I'm fascinated to see what Ineos do. Are they going to be cutthroat with Ten Hag by the time, especially if we don't get Champions League, which I don't think we're going to do? Will he be cutthroat and just say, you know what, enough is enough? We have a certain manager and a certain philosopher and a yes man that we want to come in, maybe Southgate, who knows? And this is how we want to operate. I'm interested to see if they do get rid of him or not and they kind of pull the trigger on him. Because I think he looks like a man that's under pressure. And every man at United should be under pressure, especially if you're managing a club like Manchester United. So he needs to start getting results, man. And I don't think the game against Chelsea tonight is as easy as everybody's making it. I really, really don't. I think it's going to be a tough game. Stamford Bridge, we always end up getting a draw. I remember the game in Erik ten Hag's first season where we were probably the better team, especially in the first half. And Casemiro has to get a last-minute kind of equaliser. But we don't draw games this season. We've drawn a handful of games, I think. Maybe 1, 2, 3. It's either a win or a loss. I know we drew against Brentford recently, but for the majority of the time, we don't. So, I don't know. Really don't know what to expect from the game tonight. It's obviously a huge game for Mason Mount as well. Ten Hag got asked about Mason Mount in the press conference. He says, I don't think Chelsea wanted to sell him. They wanted to keep him. And they even offered him a new contract many times, but he wanted to make the step. And he, of course, returns to Stamford Bridge tonight. Boom's saying, where do you think United finish? Probably where we are, to be honest with you. I can't have faith in this team. I don't get how they can go and beat Liverpool 4-3 and then draw and get battered by Brentford. Like, it's a draw on paper, but the game in itself, I mean, Brentford hit the woodwork a couple of times. He had 31 shots on goal. Ivan Toney missed a couple of kind of blunders. Brentford should have beat us that game. Fulham beat us as well. And then when we beat Villa in December, we come back. It's like, oh, United turn a corner, and then we lose to Nottingham Forest. So, United as a club, we could probably lose to Chelsea today and beat Liverpool on the weekend. That's how random this club is, and that's how inconsistent this club is. It's just mad. Like, I can't get a grip on things. Inconsistencies with players being available, inconsistencies with results on the pitch, inconsistencies with the kind of tactical setup, how we're trying to play. It's a madness. It's a madness. But I really want Mason Mount to start tonight. I put him in my predicted 11 when we did the preview. I believe he deserves a start where he plays. I mean, he's not going to drop Rashford. I don't think. Obviously, Rashford offers something different as well, that kind of running in behind. But I think Garnacho can equally offer that. So I would play Garnacho on the right. I'd put Mount on the left, and I'd put Højlund up top. Or even drop Bruno. People might say I'm mad to be saying that, but I would, because I think Bruno's been pretty average for the majority of the season. I think the fact that he's got the captain's armband and he runs a lot shouldn't give him this more of a playing field than everybody else, because his quality on the ball is frustrating at times, and he was shit against Brentford. He was terrible against Brentford. So I think Mount deserves to start. Where he's going to start on the bench. I don't think he's going to start a game, because there was another point again in the presser where Ten Hag was being asked about are we rushing players back or whatever, and he went on to mention, like, even when we bring players back, obviously the Leach's situation was different because we had 2 centre-backs that went off injured, so you kind of had to force him in there. Or you throw fucking Sluggerbat in there. So he's like, even when they come back to training, doesn't mean they're match fit and they're ready to go. You have to methodically introduce them minute by minute, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, full game in that sense. Mount got 15 minutes against Liverpool, which wasn't even planned. They had to freshen up in midfield, so he had to play there. And then he got, how many minutes did he get against Brentford? Was it around 20? Something like that, I want to say. I'm guessing about 20 minutes. So maybe he'll play 45 against Chelsea. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm excited to see what lineup we have today. And I will be live at 7 o'clock with team news, pre-match build-up. Make sure you come and join me, whether you're on TikTok or YouTube. I'll be live on both. So come and join me. I'll have the lineup behind me on the screen for people on TikTok and on the screen on YouTube. Yeah, as we kind of head into that game. Let's read out a couple more comments, shall we? Get your comments in. Please do get your comments in. I'll read out as many as I can before we kind of finish off. Let's have a look. How long's that coffee been out? I made that coffee probably 45 minutes ago. Maybe a little bit longer. Because I've been trying to get all the information on the Adam Crafton article about this man here, SHEIKH JASSIM. So I've been getting pieces together, getting all the information and make sure it's structured right and I know everything, da-da-da. So, in essence, I've made the coffee and I've sat there researching everything, typing up my points, da-da-da. And then I've put it on the side, had a couple of swigs and then gone back to it there and it's cold as fuck. So, the life of a streamer. That's a little insight in for you there. Lindelof injury looks bad. He's out for a month. Same thing with Lissandro. So, Shaw... Lindelof. So the 3 L's actually. Luke, Shaw, Lindelof, and Lissandro out until the last couple of games of the season, probably. Who else have we got out in a minute? Anyone else? Malacio, obviously. He's been out for about 260 days. Maguire still out at a minute. Who else? Anyone else missing in midfield? Is that it? I think everyone should be available, right? Pretty sure. Unless I missed anyone. Wa Rukwa Di Papa. I have no idea what that means, but thank you for the comment. City kind of proved against Villa they didn't need Stones and Walker. I agree, they look decent, but I'm just saying, with all due respect, Arsenal are a better team than Villa. Do you know what I mean? And they're probably level with City and been in better form than City recently over the past couple of weeks, I'd say. That Villa victory wasn't necessarily a surprise, but I think if you would have asked the majority of people before the game, they would have said tight, maybe City wins 2-1. I don't think a lot of people would have said 4-1. So, Stones and Walker are very important players, especially John Stones, to the way Man City play. We've had 4, 5, 6 players out for the majority of the season. So there's context to it. There is context to it. I don't mind getting Europa and possibly getting the FA Cup. I just feel in our current situation that's not too bad. I don't want to accept that though. We're Manchester United, and I know it's the reality of the situation. I get that, and people they'd be happy with an FA Cup. We shouldn't even be going for an FA Cup and top 5. In reality, really, that should be like Spurs, Villa aspiration. Try pushing to the Champions League and win a trophy. For United, it should be challenging for the title, going far in the Champions League and winning the trophy, if we're being honest. It's not like we haven't got the quality of players. We've got good players, but it's more the style that doesn't suit. So, players like Højlund, Garnacho, Bruno, even Kobe, Dalot, these robust players who suit this system and can play in this system, match it. Lissandro, another one as well, and Varane. Lissandro and Varane together are incredible. But we haven't been able to play him at all. There's no partnerships in there. The team doesn't... Look at Garnacho, for example, against Brentford. He looked absolutely knackered. And people will say that's mismanagement, you're not rotating enough. Anthony's been shit. People have been calling for Anthony to be dropped for ages. So then when he does get dropped, he moves Garner over there to the right. How can people complain? Because Anthony's done fuck all. So he has to okay, he can play. I believe he can play. He's robust. That was the first game where I saw Garnacho. I was like, he's way off it. He looks fucked. International duty's done him in, should I say. And I think it was the same with other players. I don't know. I'd love to be a fly on the wall at Carrington to see what goes on. I really would, because you can only speculate at certain points why we're picking up so many injuries, why the tactical setup isn't working the way that Erik ten Hag wants it to. We could speculate and guess and look at the situation in games, but I find it fascinating the way this season's gone. I guess we need a deep-rooted revamp even at management level and whole structure. Yeah, I suppose. Lindelof saying, but if we get to the final, which most definitely should, players should be back by the final. Call me crazy, but we'd be in top 4 easy without injury. Well, in fairness to Ten Hag, he did say at the start of the season, not the start of the season, sorry, at the start of the year, when I have my players back fit and available, I'll win games. And he did. He didn't lose in 7 or 8, I think. And then we, another 2-3 injuries, and we're back to square one again. But at the same time, when Brighton beat us at the start of the season 3-1, their team was worth about 40 million quid. Our team's worth about 450, 500 million pound. So there's still no excuses. Like, we have injuries and the way we play is going to be changed. That I admit, and that is acceptable. But the performance that we put in against Brentford when we had Garnacho, Bruno, Rashford, Højlund, Kobbie Mainoo, some of these talents on the pitch are fucking at the highest level of world-class players. So it's still, you can't go to Brentford and perform like that. Unacceptable at any level. I don't care what anyone says. Terrible. For anyone just joining on TikTok, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm live over on there right now on both platforms, and the link is in the description. I'm going to be live for the game tonight. Like I said, Chelsea versus Man United. I may even do a watch along if I feel up for it. If enough people want to kind of join me, and then I'll do a watch along. But if not, I'll do a pre-match build up, and then we'll do post-match discussion as always. United versus Chelsea. Mason Mount returns to Stamford Bridge. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch football. Hopefully, it's not going to be another Brentford performance because I can't be arsed with that. I want to see a decent performance, and then we can carry that momentum into the Liverpool game on the weekend, which is another massive one. But yeah, you lose tonight, it's going to be fucking chaos. Absolute chaos, because Chelsea are 11th and they're a dog turd. So let's just see what happens. Thank you to everyone tuning in. If you can, please do leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a member, £3 a month, you get exclusive content. Helps support the channel. Helps us get guests on. Yeah, just hit the link in the description. And check us out on socials. All the socials at the top of your screen. Real Reds Talk, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're absolutely everywhere. So come and check us out. Say hello. Plenty of lads on the channel as well. Yeah, apart from that, have a nice Thursday, and I'll see you guys tonight, hopefully.